What's going on, everyone? Today we're going to be printing my absolute favorite character in the entire Warhammer universe, Bjorn the Fell-Handed. Now I know that there's a lot of legends out there in the Warhammer universe, but after reading the Eisenhorn series, after completing the entire Horus Heresy, and just recently finishing up my Space Wolves arc with the Emperor's Gift, Bjorn the Fell-Handed stands absolutely alone. Believe it or not, we're going to be actually using the signature 0.06mm layer height preset that I've been using for my much smaller miniatures. We're going to be using that to bring this Dreadnought proxy to life. And the detail, guys, that we were able to pull out was absolutely incredible. So in today's video, I'm going to show you how to cut a model using Orca Slicer. Some models require a different approach, and this was definitely one of those. So I'm going to show you how to use Orca Slicer or whatever slicer you may have to cut your model, how to support that using a hybrid mixture of both organic tree supports, but also our tried and true resin to FDM lychee workflow. And finally, we're also going to assemble it, prime it, and get it ready to paint. Now, I have to tell you, I have to share with you why this character matters so much, or why it means so much to me. If you've read Pardon of the Ways by Chris Raitt, then you know the scene. Bjorn is right there with Leman Russ, his High King. They're celebrating, but then all of a sudden the atmosphere changes, and there's a shift with Leman Russ. He realizes that he has to do something, but he doesn't tell anyone. He doesn't make an announcement. He makes a speech and kind of changes the atmosphere. And then he gets up and just leaves the mess hall. Bjorn, very loyal to the very end, he gets up and he goes to follow him. And the last words that he ever hears from his Primarch are, "Not you." And that's it. When I got to that part, it was like haunting. It's like, after everything, not Bjorn. So that was the end. That was the last time that Bjorn ever saw Leman Russ. Now, I went and completed the Space Wolves arc after that. I went into Blood of Asaheim. I went into Lucas the Trickster, all those. But I was this last week finishing the Emperor's Gift. And there was a scene in there where there's Inquisitors and there is Hyperion, who's the POV for that story. And they're all there waiting for someone to arrive because the Space Wolves are going to send someone to, I guess, delegate, and they're going to have a talk about surrendering possibly. And then there is this female character who all of a sudden whispers, "He's real." And she drops to her knees and she starts sobbing uncontrollably. And then Hyperion, who's a high-level psyker, can't understand why this person who he has never seen show this kind of emotion is sobbing uncontrollably. And so he looks and he sees. And he looks at this ginormous chassis, and there's ancient markings on it. And he realizes that he's looking at the only living soul who fought alongside the Emperor of Mankind. And that moment right there, I knew that this was going to be my next proxy to print. Bjorn, even in that exchange, talks to Logan Grimnar, and he calls him Little Wolf. And Logan Grimnar, okay, he sits there and takes it. And I think that's just the respect that everyone has, not just in the Space Wolves, but in the Grey Knights, everyone has for Bjorn the Fell-Handed. Now let's talk the actual tech though. To make this large piece, this large print manageable, I headed into Orca Slicer and I utilized the cut tool to break the model down. I was going to follow my normal workflow of lychee and then resin to FDM in Blender and then Orca Slicer to print, but I kind of wanted to do a hybrid approach for these larger pieces. I wanted to go back and I wanted to give organic tree supports another go. It's literally been 7 months since I used these for my miniature printing. When I was making the cut, I wanted to make it in such a way where I was able to minimize the scarring, because organic tree supports on models this small, even though it is a Dreadnought proxy, are going to leave scarring. And that's kind of one of the reasons why I even use lychee in the first place, is to minimize those scarring. But after cutting this model in the exact spot where I was going to make those supports appear underneath the chassis of this proxy, and then rotating the part that I cut off. This was, to me, appeared to be like just a great way to use this tool that you have in Orca Slicer to improve not only your print times, but the quality using something as simple as this. But for the arms and the weapons on Bjorn the Fell-Handed, I went and used my auto-generated support workflow. So fast, reliable, I clicked the button, laid a couple smaller supports, and that was it. It was ready to export. And if you want these exact profiles and presets, guys, make sure to join our Patreon. That will grant you access to our Discord, where you can get all my presets, long form tutorials, get your prints looking as great as you possibly can. And just join the community and talk all things 3D printing. Also, don't forget that Lychee is offering 30-day free trial. And if you use Lychee-Like-A-Hero at checkout, you'll actually get 10% off your annual subscription. Now, looking at the final result, 0.06mm layer height produced incredible results. In the parts where I had made the cut tool, an easy fix for that is just to put a little super glue is what I did, and kind of just use that to fill in the crevices there. There's other things that you can use like putties or things like that, but I just found some of the super glue that I have, the Gorilla Glue gel glue. I just kind of put that in there, and then it was great at covering that seam there. Now, once the pieces were assembled and supports removed, it was time for primer. Now, recently I've been telling you guys that my compressor had broke. Well, I bought a brand new actual full compressor with a tank, and I'm used to using my workhorse Galeri airbrush, which is I'll put it in the description, guys. It's the GHAD 68 by Galeri. I've been using this one, bought it myself about like 6 months ago. And it's kind of what I've been using, not only to prime my miniatures, but also to airbrush when I can. It comes with a 0.5mm nozzle. So like sometimes I struggle with the finer details. I love the pistol grip though. It's great for like long priming sessions. So set it to 30 PSI and it just was solid. Traditionally, I've used Vallejo black primer, which is fine. It works great. And it always requires a little bit of thinning here. However, a while back, guys, Galeri reached out, and I guess we're doing sponsored by Galeri, which is awesome. And they sent a variety of products for me to test out. No strings attached, no requirements, nothing like that. Don't even have to show them on stream, anything like that. However, I wanted to try out the Rapid Air Black Primer. And the great thing about that is it was just to pour it right into the airbrush, set it to 30 PSI, and blasted it, zero thinking. It was like zero fuss. Doing one less thing in your workflow is great for when you're just trying to get to the end point here and you're trying to get to that painting part. So I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to the old way. I'm gonna stick with this Rapid Air Black Primer. It was amazing, finish was great. They also sent over a 0.2mm airbrush, which is incredible. I've done a little bit of painting with it so far, but from what I've done so far, it's amazing. So you can expect to see that in action once we really dive into painting these armies. I've actually included both my Amazon affiliate link and a direct Galeri affiliate link in the description. I'm a huge fan of the GHAD 68 and this primer. And of course, the Mobius, it's been amazing using it. Look at these results, guys. The perfect matte finish. The details on this proxy are super just popping off. The back, where I'm looking at the skulls and that head, that severed head back there, the tongue sticking out, the tiny little horns, just the amount of detail that you're getting here on FDM is quite amazing. And I know in the comments, every time I say that you don't need to use resin, a bunch of resin purists show up and they're like, oh, you can't compete with it. I think that's missing the point. Like, if you like painting miniatures and you like 3D printing, then FDM is definitely something that you can use. And it's easy. Once you dial in these settings, you can see here, you can start getting great results like this. I think we did justice to Bjorn the Fell-Handed here. Thanks for hanging out and geeking out on the lore and the tech with me, guys. If you enjoyed this project, make sure to hit that like button, and I will see you guys in the next one.